It's off-season time, so I'm free to work on my game and whatever else without restraint. So, what to review first? Pocket Ninjas? Why would I review that? Wait, he made this? Well, guess I have to now. Pocket Ninjas is a Three Ninjas rip-off film by Cine XL Entertainment. One of its 3 directors was the late Donald G. Jackson, who's known for cult films like the Frogtown series, and one other film I might look into down the line, Roller Gator. He also often worked with Scott Shaw, who's infamous for deliberately making films without any scripts or screenplay. He called this approach Zen filmmaking. And while there is a writer for Pocket Ninjas, the movie itself will make you wonder if he even did anything. I'm just here to prepare myself for what Roller Gator could offer, though it should be said that directors David Huey and Dave Eddy took over for Jackson after he was let go. So without further ado, this is Pocket Ninjas. We open on a beach, where some martial artist is slowly training while his students are doing something else entirely.
There's certain things you'll always remember about being young. Like your first kiss, first love, which is always the first time you saved the universe.
Well, I remember making a bad game with RPG Maker when I was younger, and I vowed to do better as an adult. I suppose this is meant to set up backstory for our main characters, because then we jump to a karate dojo where the same man from before, played by Gary Daniels, is teaching 3 students. Damien, played by Joseph Valencia, Tanya, played by Sandy, and Steve, played by Bradley Joseph. He gathers them around to tell them something important.
The darkness has come over us, and this darkness has great power behind it. It is an enemy that, if given time, will destroy everything near it.
You know, my mom enrolled me here to learn self-defense, not fight evil. So yeah, the master is referring to some bad guy named Cobra Khan, played by Robert Sidar, who leads a gang of thugs and ne'er-do-wells. He looks to be the serious type of villain, but before he can resort to killing, he gets stopped by some guy in Kiss makeup and clown hair?
What about the other group? The ones who fought them?
They took the symbol of the dragon.
They call him the White Dragon.
Wait, that's the dragon-themed ninja? The covers for the movie show kids in generic ninja wear, or even Scorpion and Sub-Zero outfits, wielding brooms, scissors, whatever the hell this is, spray bottles, and a plunger. With a name like Pocket Ninjas, I was expecting toy ninjas a la Small Soldiers, or Indian in the Cupboard. But I suppose it can't be a Three Ninjas knockoff without it being about kids. By the way, the sound mixing in this movie sucks.
But if any of you have any doubts, or do not wish to receive this gift, then please speak now.
You briefly wondered why the voice acting is so hard to hear during animated cutscenes.
So Dojo Man explains how a group of dragons wore masks that drew on their inner strength and helped them fight an evil group called the Stingers. His father was part of the dragons, but now a new generation must do the same. Tanya will don the clown mask of gold, Steve the black mask, and Damien the red one. This exposition goes on for over 9 minutes while the credits keep popping in. Oh, now the title shows up. We see a couple get mugged by the Stingers until the dragons show up by roller skating. This movie should have kept its old name of Skate Dragons if this is how things are going. It's not just the covers that lie, because the tagline of them being under 4 feet, also a lie. I'd also find this action amusing for something out of the 80s, except this came out in 1994. And in foreign markets before a proper US release in 1997. Even the dialogue feels dated.
You know, keep kicking the crap out of them.
We've hurt them enough.
But with.
After that, the bad guys talk to their boss.
What happened to you?
What?
We shall prepare for these battles with these new dragons. I vow this night I will destroy them all, wipe the dragons off of the face of this planet. Forever!
Again, What? Okay, the Dojo Man was saying how the Stingers were led by a man named Cobra Khan, and yet here we see them treating this kid like he's the leader. He even does a training montage with them. I just gotta point out that with the music here, it feels more like a lighthearted comedy than a serious action film, as shown when the White Dragon set a dude on fire. Apparently, this movie is intended to be a children's version of The Rollerblade 7, another movie directed by Donald Jackson. But kidifying something doesn't just mean having characters do random things that maybe kids could find amusing. Just, what was the point of that? To show how incompetent they are? Then we jump back to the karate school. There are more students now, and for a split second you can see what looks to be another scene before it cuts to a different location. With how disjointed the movie is, I would be willing to believe Rich Evans' theory on what happened.
They filmed a movie that was a Three Ninjas knockoff, and they had it all ready to go. They had the negatives all in cans, and then they sent the intern down to get the film made out of the negatives. And he's on his way, the intern, and he's walking by like a construction site. Whoops! He drops like all of the negatives into like some kind of like wood shredding machine, and it just shot all over the street like confetti. And oh my god, I got 10 minutes to rush this to the duplicators. And he just starts like he goes to like the Walgreens to get some Scotch tape, and he's just furiously taping all of these negatives together. And everything is out of order.
Like, it's not just that it looks badly cut, but someone must have reordered scenes so that certain plot elements happen sooner or later, even if it doesn't make sense. Anyway, Steve is watching a news report on environmental pollution.
It was found that the fish had died from some form of toxic waste. The exact origin of the waste has not yet been found.
Anyway, he also found a comic book that I think is supposed to be a manga of the White Dragon, except it's formatted in the Western style.
Only the cover's in English.
It's not Canadian, Steve. I think it's Japanese.
Also, after Tanya gets in, we have another example of awkward editing to fix some dialogue. I have to assume that this came after Jackson wasn't director.
Steve found this cool Japanese comic.
This White Dragon. Who is he?
I think he's a superhero.
Also again, they were told about the White Dragon, yet this makes it sound like this is the first time they've heard about him. Maybe this should have taken place before they joined the dojo and became dragons? Instead, we have Steven recount how the White Dragon took on an evil gang of clowns. Oh, wait, they're fighting Cobra Khan? My bad. What's going on here? Why are they doing funny poses? Why is the White Dragon doing a weird dance? Why are they so juvenile? And don't tell me it's because a kid is telling the story, cause it's still not funny. Then they bounce on balloons and... There's dumbing things down for kids, and then there's this. You could have done something neat with this, but because you couldn't make a convincing fight scene for kids, you reduce yourself to the lowest common denominator. Anyway, the White Dragon leaves and...
By the gods! I swear White Dragon on my mother's grave! Cross my heart! Hope to die! Who can eat my eye? I swear I will take revenge!
Scout's honor.
Then they try discerning what the dragon would be like. And we get a guy robbing a car, with another guy trying to stop him, and this somehow leads to Tanya getting into an argument with Steve.
And Steve knows that women are really superior to men, especially 90-pound weaklings.
I'd expect as much from a vegetarian.
And I'd expect as much from a fat Republican.
What does that have to do with anything? This is why you need a proper script, with editors who know what works. Then it becomes obvious to us that the White Dragon is actually their teacher. Not that the kids would know. Said kids try figuring out his backstory, in which his father was part of an Asian hitman gang. He actually puts a hit on his son, so that could be how the Cobra Khan stuff began. I don't know, it just feels like an excuse to film a workout video with Gary Daniels. We get more Tanya bickering with Steve before cutting over to the bad guys HQ where we meet Mr. Kaufman, played by Mel Novak. He's apparently doing business with the little kid leader over dumping trash into the environment.
Don't you know it might hurt the environment?
You little punk. I'm only giving you the business out of respect to your father.
Don't give me any lip, or you'll be exposed and you'll be history.
But he takes the deal anyway because, I don't know. And he's supposedly the son of the Robert Sidar character, or the Asian man that Gary Daniels says was his father, even though he's not Asian himself.
Oh no, I've gone cross-eyed.
Folks, this is why Zen filmmaking doesn't work for a movie like this. Nothing is coherent, and no one will be able to follow along. I still don't know who exactly this kid is, or why we need to establish Robert Sidar as a character when he hasn't seemingly appeared. Now they want to try and have an environmental message too? Just no! We get another scene of the kids beating up bad guys before the cops show up. They report to the kid boss, who instructs them to tail the kids to find the White Dragon. Speaking of, Dojo Man is starting to have doubts about letting the kids keep the powers because they got hurt.
We beat them.
You should have seen us. We kicked them.
What if that lucky punch had been a knife or a bullet?
You were the one who pushed this power on them. Then after he tells the kids to come back early tomorrow, we get another montage?
Oh, a fellow chucker, eh?
And I guess they got better? Well, the crooks are stalking Damien. One of them hides in a trash can, even does the tippy-toe walk, only to get bumped into by a car. Then we see the White Dragon show up, and we can confirm that it's...
Master Jack, are you okay?
Oh right, Tanya did say his name was Jack. And then... another montage? I swear, half this movie is made up of them, and this one is just a repeat from the beginning. And when that's done, we then get another villain training montage. Are we sure someone wrote a script? 'Cause now they're just repeating stuff. Now for a parade, I think, and the bad guys are pursuing our kid dragons. For whatever reason, they can't fight in public, so they have to keep running away. Then we get some downtime as we cut back to something Jack says to his students.
You must promise me one thing.
What?
That you will never, I repeat, never take on Cobra Khan himself. Only I can defeat him.
He's literally a small child! After a couple more scenes involving villains that do nothing, we see Damien's mom show up to take her son home. He pulls out a Game Boy to play, but there's no game inside. I guess the writers and directors have no idea how a Game Boy works. You can't play a Game Boy without the game. Otherwise, what's the point of having a Game Boy? And if it's a copyright issue, put a blank cartridge inside. Even Derek Savage went through the effort of making his own game with crappy PNGs. How do you make him seem competent? Anyway, after another montage, Damien's mom shows up and actually checks out Jack, who's doing the same to her. Everyone learns that the bad guys are working with the evil corporation to gather toxic waste. The kids are told to stay out of this, but Steve stole the masks with the hopes of going after said bad guys. Tanya, though, isn't sure about this.
Why don't you let the men handle this one?
Dick! The bad guys are going after Damien's mom, and they try baiting her first with a $100 bill on a string. She doesn't fall for that, but she does fall for... coupons? I don't get it. But then the traffic snaps her off course, so what actually works is... a poster of Jack. She tries defending herself, but she finally gets caught in front of the kids.
Mom, they've got my mom.
Funniest line read in the movie. The boys plan to go after them while Tanya goes to warn Jack. Even though he wants to rescue her as the White Dragon, she's like, "You're not up to that. What exactly happened to make him weak?" Now for another fricking montage. Even though this movie has a 74-minute runtime, it feels twice as long. Steve and Damien confront the bad guys and kick Kaufman's ass. Then they fight the goons before the kid boss decides to join the fight.
So, you tried to rough up my boys, huh? Found out it didn't work. Caused me great grief. You're only the student. I want the sensei.
Then the white dragon appears, which scares the kid away. The dragons fight and beat up the bad guys, rescue Mom, while revealing this twist.
Wow, where'd you learn to fight like that?
I went to school with you! I am also a black belt! We're in the same fucking karate class! Also, I have horrible dickheads! You horrible dickheads! Oh no! Oh my god! Die! Oh no! Fuck you!
In all seriousness, I guess she did extra training while the boys didn't. Anyway, Kaufman is arrested, so all that's left is the kid boss. Jack then says that fighting baddies must now happen in virtual reality. Since when?
Now it's time for the ultimate challenge. The duel of all duels, the contest that will test your skills, coordination, and your strength.
It's just a game.
I've got the quarters. Who's the first to step forward?
I played this game before.
Let the games begin.
Welcome to Sonic Virtual Reality.
I just have a few questions, all of which begin with why? Why are you going along with this? This isn't Yu-Gi-Oh! You have him outnumbered, you're all pretty skilled, just kick his ass! Why is Robert Sidar in a video game? Why is the fighting so damn fast when it's virtual reality? Why is Damien's character so underpowered? Why do we keep cutting between game footage and real life? And why is there the Indiana Jones theme from the Atari 2600 game?
Command your dragon selected.
And to no surprise, the fighting sucks. If they didn't want this kid getting beat up on camera, maybe don't have him as a villain! Just have Robert Sidar do that, if you let him. This movie is just one big joke. The Dragon Ninjas might as well be clowns, which is lampshaded by this one police chopper.
3 clowns on roller skates.
And then, after our heroes win, we abruptly cut back to when they were discussing the White Dragon comic. Except now they're discussing how it's up to us to protect the environment and teach others to be dragons, or something. Then someone named Amy shows up because Steve knows her, and Jack narrates again like he's reflecting on his youth, even though he had nothing to do with anything that went on.
Excuse me, are you helping? Didn't I tell you to leave them alone?
Okay, Amy.
No explanation? I thought you were dead.
Some things never change.
I know what you think, but I'll tell you what I know.
But with...
Wait, the narrator is an older Steve? The credits play with earlier clips, and now we can confirm the name of the kid boss. Cubby Khan, played by Rick Rabago, and his father was the fight director. Makes a lot of sense. Well then, if there was any doubt that a movie like this could fail the top 3 ninjas, I hope it's gone now. Because oh my god, this was bad. There's no coherent plot. They say some evil gang leader is causing trouble, but we only ever see his kid or whatever, who may or may not be related to him. Then there's this other guy who is this superhero dragon dude who teaches kids how to be like him, with some evil businessman and dead or divorced parents subplots. How can this movie have so much going on without being of any substance? Many scenes feel disjointed because I think some scenes are shot in advance in certain locations and outfits, which can result in conflicting plot points or character designs. Even if there was some semblance of a plot, it's hard to follow along or even comprehend. It also doesn't help that they keep bouncing between silly and serious tones, and the montages! My god, there's so many of them! This fails to be even a basic 90s kids film because they wanted to experiment with somebody else's style of filmmaking, and when they realized they made a mistake, it was too late. Somehow, Cine XL Entertainment lives on, with their most recent outing being a TV miniseries called Mini Monsters Mega Jam, even while George Jackson passed away in 2003. While opportunities to cover more of his works are possible, I'm still hesitant because of Scott Shaw and his copyright practices, though if I had to do one more, it would be Rollergator, no doubt. But otherwise, this movie is just awful. Even by bad movie standards, it lacks any kind of unique charm that could make it so bad it's good. It's annoying, boring, padded as hell. What else is there to say? But if a movie this bad can be made with barely any script or preparation, what about a movie that can match that suckitude despite having both? Well, tune in next time when we go north.